Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. Today I have a crossover for you, Divest from the Democratic Party, episode 24, along with Let the Women Tell It, episode 65, where we give you another reason why uh, voting for identity politics doesn't matter whether you're Divine Nine or a woman or have brown skin. There's no reason to put somebody in a White House to make them the most powerful person in the world. It's about their policies and the policies that will hurt millions of people in the United States, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, most likely everybody. So the issue is here. Listen, I'm not going to tell you that I didn't vote for Barack Obama because he had brown skin. I did. That first term when Bush had run the economy into the world economy into the ground, Barack Obama actually had policies that he was talking about that I could agree with. So yeah, a lot of it was identity politics. But let's take this. He didn't win just because black people voted for him. There was a vast majority of white folks who wanted to see change as well, and they voted for him as well. So it wasn't just like a swing state kind of issue. He won overwhelmingly in his first term, and he did what he said he was going to do. He made some hard choices, and he saved the global economy by making some choices that he got some riff for. And of course, his going headfirst into healthcare for everybody. Well, that's a mixed bag, depending on who you talk about. Now, the only thing I didn't like is the way he flip flopped on same sex marriage, even though that's not really a big deal for me. I didn't vote one way or the other based on that. That's why I gave him a second term as well. You know what? Same sex people have a right to be miserable in their marriages, just like so many other people. So, but little do we know that he was spearhead a rainbow mafia after that. And what's going on today is way past uh, just people who want to be same sex marriage. You can dig that because that's something personal to two people who are living together. What's going on now with the rainbow mafia is a whole nother story. But that's not the purpose of why we're here, even though if we put these guys in office for another 4 years, that kind of mindset will progress for another 4 years, and we'll be putting everybody at risk for that. So there's got to be some a blockade on giving people more rights than they deserve, especially if it tramples on rights of others. So, but here's the deal. This what I'm gonna show you before we get further, I go further. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel because I have some more stuff I'm gonna tell you about. This particular video that I'm taking from Anton Daniels as a lady who is an entrepreneur. If you look at the subtitle on here, "Sweat and Tears of an Entrepreneurial Black Woman," uh, and what's going on with her when it comes to how the illegal immigrants have more rights than she did and does, and access to funds and money. And then I'm gonna also show another video where uh, an immigrant left a receipt where it showed that they had $13,000 worth of food stamps and almost $5,000 in the bank, and just walking around. And the people who been in this country paying taxes, they never get anything like that. So you got to understand that 4 more years of this kind of policy is going to bankrupt and destroy the United States. Uh, and it's all for the purpose of building up another voting bloc that they could bribe into voting for them. And maybe it's a smart strategy, but it's at the expense of all the taxpayer money because everything they do is based on our taxpayer money. The wars that's going on right now, the billions and billions of dollars that's being spent. So I'm gonna put the link to these videos that I'm a sample for fair use, and you guys can look at them in your entirety. But I'm gonna just play some tidbits of those for you. And listen, it's political season, so everybody's gonna start to choose sides. And unfortunately, once again, we don't have the best candidate mix. But I know putting the wrong person in office could destroy it. Nah, they would use it. the word destroy the United States. It could definitely change the way our policies and things uh, are going. I think the Republic is strong enough to hold up against a Trump and hopefully against a Harris uh, cabal of people who are trying to take away First Amendment rights and Second Amendment rights and things of that nature. So if we have a mixed uh, executive and a legislation a branch, we have hope no matter who gets into the White House. But I tell you, we can't put somebody in there who cannot stand the pressures of the job. At least we know Trump has been there already, and for the 4 years that he was in there, well, let's say 3 years, because COVID messed up everybody. But the 3 years he was in there, there were some policies that actually worked, and his agenda 47 has 20 bullet points on it, and so far there's no agenda from the other side. So without further ado, I want you to see and feel the tears of this young black woman. Well, she ain't that young. She spent a lot of years building a business, and she gonna kind of tell you about what happened to her when she had to go sell, or what she found out when she was selling her business. Okay, so without further ado, I'm gonna start playing those tapes, and I'm gonna let you hear it. We're gonna let the woman tell it. There's gonna be some introduction from Anton Daniels, and I'm gonna let some of that play, but I'm gonna skip ahead for a few of that, so you could know. I'm gonna put the link to his to the full video in my description, so you can go there at any time and listen to it all the way through. Let me stop sharing this. Share that first video. All right.
Out to our vice president who's running for president. I have heard all over social media about, excuse me if I say anything wrong, immigrants getting loans, money. It was hard for me to believe. It was just extremely hard for me to believe. I've been in business such a long time. Back in 2019, I purchased my first food truck. It cost me over $25,000. I paid it cash money. I worked hard to pay for this truck. I'm now selling it because I'm doing other things, but I'm selling it. I had a guy come look at purchasing my vehicle or my food truck, and he explained to me he's an illegal immigrant.
I can already see where this is about to go. She looked like she about to cry. Make sure.
All right. So I just stopped it there, and I'm a fast forward a little bit just so we can keep it going, because I wanna. He has some public service or some other things inside of here. But you know where she's going with this. He's an illegal immigrant. He wants to buy her business. And so I'm going to continue it here, and we can hear a little bit more of the story. Anton Daniels is going to put a little 2 cents in there, which some of it people need to hear. But let's go.
Plus, I seen what Eric Adams did just today. Just today, Eric Adams said that they've spent billions, and I mean up to over $2 billion a year on the migrant crisis. So when you see them walking around with these debit and these EBT cards, and they got free housing and school, and they teaching them English and all of this stuff, know that that came from your tax dollars, and it's also an insult to you as a working American of what you really tried to do and how you've been trying to build the American dream. Let's hear the rest of what she got to say.
He has no credit. He has no money in the bank. But he showed me his paperwork that he will receive funds to purchase my food truck. I'm thankful that he's buying it, but I'm hurt that I worked so hard to pay cash for my food truck.
Absolutely.
I have good credit. Can't even get a business loan because of the color of my skin. I have veterans in my family. I'm a veteran. I've been self-employed for so long. But somebody, please tell me, how do I work so hard to have somebody who comes to this country, not long, no credit, and he shows me paperwork where they'll be funding him money to buy my food truck.
Mm.
And when I talked to the bank, they told me,
And I know for a lot of people, this is hard to believe or it doesn't resonate with you. But this resonates with me because when you put your own money up and you had to get it out the mud and you built something from scratch, you built the business from scratch, you built the brick and mortar business from scratch, you built the food truck from scratch, you built your business out of your home, you know the dedication of blood, sweat, and tears, the lack of sleep, and all of the effort and hard work that goes into it in order to try to achieve the American dream. Whether you failed or you won, you have an emotional connection to the grind and the hustle and the dedication to that business. And so the business means more than what you make from it, or the business means more of what you sell the items in it for is meaningful to you. And so this election and what's happening right now, and the reason that she's crying is more than just the fact that, oh man, this is what's happening or it's unfair. It's an emotional connection to your dedication and your hard work of what it took to build this thing. It's almost like building up a house and paying it off only to see somebody come and just tear it down in 5 seconds. It's gonna make you cry. It's gonna make you shed a tear.
All right. So, listen, you heard what he said. I wanted to break it up a little bit, but he's absolutely correct, right? I mean, just to see people getting benefits and they're in the country illegally. They're not even in the country legally. They're in the country illegally and they're getting benefits. They can go into a bank and they got special codes for illegal immigrants to get money, your taxpayer dollars, because even the bank can loan that money because they have certain guarantees that they'll get those loans if it's defaulted back by whatever insurance they have. So they won't give it to you with your business plan as an American, but they'll give it to somebody who no background at all because they're a part of the cabal. And it's incredible. And I think everybody should be kind of pissed off at it. So let's hear a little bit more about what she has to say. And this is why voting based on identity politics is not good. And unless they have some real concrete policies that you can say, you know what, I'm not voting for identity politics. I'm voting because I like the planks that they have, the policies, and I can spell those policies out, and I believe they're going to deliver on them. But other than that, how many policies the Democrats have been promising black people for the last 50 years? Where's it at? Especially black men. Black women, you get Section 8, you get food stamps, you get all these kind of things. They made a deal with you to leave the black man around 50, 60 years ago with the Johnson did, and a lot of y'all took that deal. So some of y'all are just happy the way things are. But for black men, there's nothing in it for the Democrats have given us nothing. So let's go ahead and continue.
but I need my president to tell me why I worked so hard all these years, all these decades. Couldn't get a business loan, but I bust my ass to get the money to create my business. And we got immigrants coming here. And they're getting money. Money. We're doing nothing. But
Y'all literally should be pissed off. Even people that have disagreed with me traditionally on issues that we still have a disagreement about. If you are a blackety black and you are a person that has argued with me in favor of reparations, even though I say that I don't believe in it, you should be offended. If you are a person that has worked your whole life and poured into the tax code, you should be offended. If you black, you should be offended. If you white, you should be offended. If you a person that is an American, if your a person that migrated over here legally and went through the process and all of the long-term stuff that you had to deal with in order to become a citizen and then be able to do what you got to do on a regular basis and you pay taxes, you should be offended. Absolutely. If you have one of these leaders, a D.L. Hughley, a Charlemagne, a Ricky Smiley, sitting here and telling you that you just need to vote just based off of identity politics, you should be offended. If you heard that Ricky Smiley thing where he said people need to block you if you're not voting for Kamala Harris because you're not on code, you should get offended because they're not taking into consideration what people really going through in real life. And they so disconnected from what's real out in these streets that they won't even take into consideration what you think. They don't give a fuck about you. They only care about whether or not it aligns with their boule agenda of whether or not you are part of the divine nine. It's offensive. It's disrespectful to the millions of black people and Americans every single day that grind and hustle and push and focus on being the best version of themselves so that they can ultimately achieve the American dream. And they may fall short, but at least they tried, only to be disrespected by your administration. This ain't even people that focus on beating the system. These is people that walked in because the system said, beat me. That's disrespectful. It's absolutely disrespectful to you, the person that worked every single day, that grind and hustle. And then you get your paycheck and you look at your paycheck and you realize that they took an egregious amount of taxes only to give it to other people so that they can take over your stuff, buy your stuff, and then hopefully benefit as a result of it and run this country and become the new voter bloc. They children are going to be the ones that inherit this earth, that inherit this country, that inherit the United States of America.
You stop it right there. Yeah, listen, look at her face. I'm telling you, they said, well, don't make decisions based on the tears of a lady. Well, in this case, she's really hurt. And so should the rest of us be. We're being set up by a cabal of people who want to take away the rights of, take away agency of regular voters. And it starts from the black voters who are unfortunately still at the lower ends of the rung because they're putting our immigrants in your neighborhoods. They're taking over your boys' clubs. They're taking over your abandoned schools. And then they're putting them up in hotels and all that kind of stuff. That's just one issue. That's just one issue, not to mention the rainbow issue, not to mention the affirming care issue, the attack on children from taking them away from their parents. You could just go to California and see the law that they passed, that they could actually start taking your children away from you if you don't agree with the alphabet community. So there's a lot of stuff going on that we're gonna could lose power over. There's a lot of things going on, so if you don't hear policies other than, I got brown skin and I'm black when it's convenient, that's not enough to put somebody in the White House. It's not, right? So even if you don't like Trump, he has 47 things. He has Agenda 47, which kind of clearly says that this is what I want to do. And you don't have to agree with all of those things, but it's something you could literally see. And I'll put the link to the Agenda 47 as well into my description. Now, you don't have to vote for Trump. I know when Biden came up and Trump came up, I didn't vote for either one of them. I voted, but I didn't vote for either one of those guys because I didn't like to vote for the lesser of two evils. I still don't. So this year, after all of this time voting Democrat, I'm going to change my mind. I think it's time to break the curse and the demonic hold that the Democrats have on black people, especially black men. I don't really want to speak for black women. Every single black woman who has come to the revelation that just voting based on identity politics, I'm proud of those ladies, all of them. I'm proud of them. but I don't know if there's going to be an appreciable amount. It's the black men who need to divest the most from the Democratic Party. And it doesn't matter what your girlfriend says or what your woman says or what race baiters like Roland Martin says and all that kind of shit. We got to be independent and we got to break that stronghold. And if we can get the black male vote down to less than 50% for identity politics, then we might make a real big swing in the swing states. Because the goal really is to have the Democrats lose every swing state. And that's my goal for the year. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, I'll survive the next 4 years, no matter who's president. That's the plan. It's always the plan. Anyway, so I got another video that I want to show you guys. I'm gonna stop sharing this one. And this is another one about a lady, an immigrant has a receipt. And the receipt shows you how much she's getting in food stamps and money. So here goes.
And what this is, you can see the balance at the top there. It'll say EBD FS balance, $13,000 is the remaining balance on this. And so I posted this not that long ago. And, essentially because it's hard to translate and it's hard to even see on the receipt.
Let me stop this real quick. A lot of people try to debunk this as a hoax. Turns out that it's not. It turns out that there's different people coming out with these stories about immigrants, illegal immigrants who have an egregious amount of money that they're getting from the government, both in EBT stamps and cash. So this is not a one-off. This is not just, it's not a one-off. So if somebody could come up with anything that discredits this, hey, I share it with me. Because it's very hard to find. This has been all over the place. So if it's not true, sometimes the checkers themselves on these social media posts, they'll tell you that if something is a hoax or it's not true. So let's hear a little bit more about what this guy has said.
So here's what it says here. So an illegal migrant from Venezuela left her receipt at the grocery store. The cashier, took a photo. The EBT food stamp balance is over $13,000. The EBT cash balance is almost $5,000. And in this post, I said, this while millions of Americans can't afford groceries, rent, gas, clothes for their children, the bare necessities. This should strike fear and disgust in the heart of every single American. A vote for Kamala Harris is a vote more for this. So
let me stop it right there. We don't need to go any further because it's true. Just like in the last video, Anton Daniels said that in New York City alone, they spent $2 billion so far on illegal sanctuary city, putting up the illegal aliens, and some of them with a pathway. We don't even have a trace back to where these people what kind of lives they lived back in their own country. And one of the things nobody's really talking about, the vast majority of the guys who come in here are men of military age. All right, there's a lot of children missing, and nobody knows where they are. And it's something that every American should really be concerned about. I don't understand what's the matter with people that we are so easy to be willing to just acquiesce to people who call themselves leaders and just continue to believe in the cabal of the things that's going on. It's like the black folks, especially with the demonic hold that the Democrats have on the black people, it's like we're frogs in a heating pot, right? And now we're at the point where the water is so hot, we're on the way out and we don't even know. They're replacing the black underclass with new immigrants, right? And in 5 years, those immigrants are going to have stores all over your neighborhood. You're going to be asking, your kids are going to be asking their kids for jobs. You're not going to be able to get their jobs because they're not going to be bilingual. So they can't be at the storefront. They can't be in the service jobs. Those, the so-called black jobs that Trump said, and maybe it was inarticulate, but black jobs are the jobs that are at the social front, the front facing jobs to society. Those jobs are lower rung, the mid-level servants jobs. A lot of black people are in those jobs, service level jobs, and they're being displaced. There's training programs going on for illegal people to take those jobs over. Now, of course, there's a whole bunch of jobs that nobody wants to take, poor whites or blacks, in the meat factories and all those kind of things. But that's not a. But if you had to feed your family, you better take a job if you get one, right? I mean, what else are you gonna do? So it's time to elevate. But the first part of elevation, I think, is making sure you don't vote based on the wrong things. And if you happen to vote based on identity politics because you just want to see a brown woman, a woman with brown skin in the White House, well, more power to you. And then, of course, we all get what we deserve. And you get what you deserve, but you're going to take the rest of us with you. Our pain, marriage, politics, and sports. Over and out.